William Zepeda versus Giovanni Cabrera, 12 rounds in the 135-pound division. I think this is going to be a very nice matchup right here, man. Let's get into it. Let's start with Zepeda. 30 wins, no losses, 26 wins by way of knockout. To this point, Zepeda, has yet to really have a close fight per se, right? Generally, he's a guy that's known for knocking cats out. That's what he's been able to do in his 30 fights. 26 of those times, he's found a way to put his opponents on the canvas or for them not to come out of their corner. You know what Zepeda is about by this point. You know he's heavy pressure, barrage of punches, great conditioning, and he's got a very good chin. At least a chin that is yet to be fully tested. But as of, as what we can see, the chin is pretty good. It's pretty durable. I don't think Zepeda, has that one-shot knockout type of power. I think he is more of an accumulation type of guy where he breaks you down with punches because he's in your face every single round, right in front of you, letting it go to the body, to the head every single round, and it just weakens you. And it's like you're trying to keep up with someone who is kind of machine-like. And that's when he's able to really impose that power. He just breaks you down. I think Zepeda is a very rhythmic fighter, man. When he's in his groove and he's marching forward and he's going left hand, right hand, body shot, uppercut, and all these different things, when he is in his groove and in his rhythm, it's hard to disrupt. And if you can't disrupt him and break his cadence up and just find a way for him to punch you one shot, two shot at a time, it's not going to work out in your favor. If you can't break up his consistency, man, the volume is going to get to you. When he fought Rene Alvarado, that was one of his few fights that went the distance. Alvarado was landing some good punches, man, against Zepeda. Zepeda, he's going to be there to get hit. His offense is kind of his defense, but Alvarado just couldn't keep up with the pace of the fight. Those guys started out heavy pace, heavy punches, volume of punches. I was like, there's no way that they're going to be able to keep this up. For the most part that they did, every time it seemed like Alvarado was kind of gaining momentum, Zepeda would come back and steal it. But at the same time, Alvarado, man, he was landing some nice shots against Zepeda. Alvaro's got a chin because he did take some big shots that has taken cats out before. But Alvarado, man, again, I thought he put forth a great showing, a great effort, a great fight, showed a lot of heart, and showed that he was not afraid of Zepeda, that I can mix it up with this guy, and I'm not going to back down by no means. Felt like Alvarado gave him a tougher fight than when Zepeda fought Jojo Diaz. Even though Jojo Diaz in that 6th round landed that nice counter right hand that wobbled Zepeda's feet a little bit and pushed him back, it was just a one-sided fight for William Zepeda when he fought Jojo Diaz to me. When Zepeda fought Luis Viadez, he suffered his first knockdown, and the knockdown, it wasn't really a big shot by no means. It was a counter right hand that, landed on the side of his face / the top of his head, and it was enough to carry Zepeda's momentum to the canvas. It wasn't a devastating punch, but it was enough to score a knockdown. Now, the last time that we saw William Zepeda was when he fought Maxie Hughes, and Zepeda looked like William Zepeda. Maxie Hughes couldn't keep up with the pressure and the pace, man. Actually, for the first couple rounds, Maxie Hughes was doing his thing as best as he could, man. He's not really known to be a guy who throws a lot of punches, but he was throwing as much punches as Zepeda was and outworking Zepeda, throwing more punches than Zepeda in that first round, maybe even a little bit of that second round. But, every shot that connected from Zepeda, headshot, body shot, Zepeda was going to the body, and you could see it was physically hurting Maxie Hughes every single time. You have Maxie Hughes, who's usually a guy that does really well when he's able to create separation. He was a guy that I still feel like beat George Kambosos just off the skill alone. So Maxie Hughes, even though he has losses on his resume, a bunch of losses, he's a very good boxer, skilled southpaw. He just couldn't create the separation so he could work his strengths. He was constantly on the back foot, and he was trying to get his shots off coming off of the back foot, but it just wasn't enough. He couldn't keep up with the pace. The pace was too high, the volume was too much, the pressure was too much, the power started to really impose his will. But I thought Max Hughes showed a valiant effort. He just couldn't keep up with the volume puncher. And when you look at Zepeda's fights, man, he's a punching machine. He's a punching and conditioning machine. And he's got a meanness to him that you want to see a fighter bring out inside of the ring. So I don't think this is going to be an easy fight for him by no means. I think it could even be a very frustrating fight for William Zepeda, but I'm looking forward to seeing how it unfolds, man. Let's talk about his opponent, Giovanni Cabrera. 22 wins, 1 loss, 7 wins by way of knockout. Cabrera has fought his fair share of undefeated fighters and beat them. I think he's much better than people think. I mean, he beat Gabriel Flores, Luis Perozo when Perozo was undefeated at the time, and he's got a win over Elijah Pierce. So he's a pretty good fighter, man. Going to his fight when he fought Gabriel Flores Jr., I read this article when he was saying he was at the casino and his coach was there as well, too. And Flores came over to his coach and said something, because when Cabrera came over to his coach, Flores left and he seemed like he walked away angry. And his coach said, man, he was talking about he's going to knock you out, right? And Cabrera wasn't feeling that. So the game plan was, as soon as the fight starts, I'm going to come forward. As soon as I get close to you, I'm going to load up with everything I have on that first shot, and I'm going to hit you. And that's kind of what happened. That's the backstory behind the beginning part of their fight. As soon as the fight started, Cabrera came forward, got him to bite with the left hand to open up his guard, and came through with the left hand and scored himself a knockdown. 7 seconds it took for him to get a knockdown against Flores. And then he dropped him a little bit later in that first round and dropped him again in the 5th round on his way to a decision victory. Cabrera isn't known to be a big puncher, but I think he's got enough power to at least get his opponent's attention and make you feel him and make him see that he's there. I thought against Flores, it was an excellent performance from Cabrera. His fight against Isaac Cruz, which is going to be a very similar stylistic fight to what he's going to see when he gets into the ring with William Zepeda. Cruz, a front forward, in your face type of guy, volume, pressure, punches from everywhere. He has to throw punches from everywhere because he's not the tallest fighter. And he's got power in his shots. And I felt like Cabrera held his own. Thought he boxed very well. He fought his fight, at least early, and didn't get sucked into fighting that Isaac Cruz type of fight from in close. Cruz was swinging and punching from every angle, looping shots in. And a lot of times, man, he was getting through. Other times, Cabrera was making him miss, especially in the early part, moving his head, and found a way how to get out of the way at the right time. I actually like the game plan early of Cabrera. I think he's got a good chin, a great chin, because Cruz caught him with some stuff. Cruz caught him with some shots, and he took it well. Those shots that Cruz was landing on Cabrera, against other guys, that's knocking them out, or at least putting them on the canvas. And so it was surprising because I didn't know Cabrera had a chin like that. I don't think many of us thought he had a chin like that. Now, when Cabrera got himself in trouble was when he started staying in the pocket a lot longer. I'm not sure if he was getting tired in the fight. I'm not sure if he felt like Cruz couldn't really hurt him, but he stayed in the pocket, and that's when Cruz was able to land those shots, and that's when his shots started to get through a lot more. But Cabrera was getting his shots off too. He talks about it as well too. He said, man, I was the first guy to kind of knock Isaac Cruz down, in that 11th round, but the ref did not call it a knockdown, even though I felt like it was. It looked like, to me, Cabrera landed a nice little body shot, and the momentum was pushing Cruz back just slightly, and he lost his balance, and Cruz's hands touched the canvas. It wasn't a devastating punch. There wasn't a devastating knock down by no means, but regardless of the fact, it was a very good showing in the entirety of Cabrera in that fight. You never know how someone's going to handle that type of pressure and that type of style. And Cabrera showed a level of poise that I didn't know that he had. Maybe you did, but I didn't know that he had that type of poise, and he was going to be able to handle all that. And he showed me a lot that fight, man. I think he's a very good boxer, underrated boxer, and he's very confident coming into this fight. So I think this is going to be a competitive fight, and it's going to be interesting. So who wins? Before I give my pick on this fight, I have something real quick to share. You know, I'm always looking to bring more light, more value, more opportunities for the community. I've been working on a few different things in recent weeks to not just grow the channel, but as I said, to continue to provide as much value as I can to each of you in our community. With that being said, I got some exciting news to share. I'm happy to announce my partnership with BetStamp and Sign Up Expert. It's a great opportunity for you to join some of the best sports books to get the best odds and new user offer. All you have to do is head over to my dedicated page at signupexpert.com/the breakdown to explore a selection of sports books tailored to your region, each with its own unique offerings. So if you want to place a bet this weekend and on this fight and beyond, check out the link to find the best options for you in your region. Every sign up does support the channel, and it helps the channel grow and to expand and to create more opportunities, not just for me, but for our community. You know, I'm always looking out for you guys as best as I can. You can easily find the link in the description below this videos and videos moving forward. So get down there and check it out and find the best option for you. Now, let's get back to the video. I think it's easy to say Zepeda is going to walk through this guy when you just pull up their resumes on BoxRec and you see and you compare and you say, man, Zepeda is going to walk through this guy. Zepeda, I think Cabrera is going to give Zepeda a different test. Cabrera's got a strong chin. He can move and he can box. I don't think he has the power necessarily to keep Zepeda off of him, but I do think he has the footwork mixed with the accurate punches to frustrate Zepeda. And Zepeda is going to have to cut off the ring. And if he can't do that, Cabrera is going to be hard to find, right? And to hit consistently. Now, Cabrera, when he fought Cruz, you know, for whatever reason, he just stayed in the pocket. And when he stayed in the pocket, he got away from the game plan of staying away from those punches. If you engage with Zepeda too much and you don't have the power to back him up, that's not a fight that you're going to win. He's going to take over and steal all the momentum and maybe even knock you out. Like, you don't want to stand right in the pocket with Zepeda, man. You don't want to fight a man at his strengths, you know? So I like Cabrera. And I really do think that he can win this fight. I just don't think he'll be able to outwork Zepeda. You know, I think he might win the early rounds of this fight, but going into the second half of the fight, Cabrera might get a little overconfident and sway from the game plan and stay in the pocket. And if he does that, Zepeda will take over. I think it's going to be a close fight, a closer fight than many people think. And I think this fight goes the distance, man. So I like William Zepeda to win this fight by decision, maybe even some type of split decision, because I think Cabrera, you know, he's got the type of skill to surprise Zepeda, and it could be a more challenging fight than he thinks. But I think Zepeda gets it done on the night by some type of decision. So those are my thoughts. I would love to hear from you. How do you think this one goes? Who do you have winning? Let me know in the comment section below. I don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below. But if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top, and I will do my best to get those done for you that week. Or if you'd like to become a member just to show love and to support the channel, man, that would be greatly appreciated as well. Shout out to all the members holding out the membership section, man. I appreciate each of you. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.